Alright, here we are in my kitchen again, and we're going to get a little serious, and I'm going to show you how to clean a catfish in real detail here. So pay attention, I'll show you some tricks. Been cleaning a lot of fish for a long time. Here's a nice sized catfish here, and let's just get started here. So first things first, here's a little trick that'll help everyone is before you start working with your catfish, go ahead and dry it down. And what that's going to do is remove a lot of that slime, that slippery slime. It does a couple things. It helps you work with your catfish on the board without it sliding around, and it also removes any excess moisture, or in this case slime, that we don't want to contaminate the meat with anyways. So we'll get in here and I'm going to show you the best I can. So that's trick number one. Trick number two is when you got a catfish this size, you don't have to skin it. The only time I skin catfish is when they're small. I'm going to remove the skin and I'm going to fry the whole thing. But when you get a catfish this size, you're going to fillet it out. So there's no need for skinning. I'm going to show you an easy way to remove the skin, and how to fillet it as well. So anyways, the first thing I want to do is kind of figure out where I'm going to slice into this thing and make the fillet. A foolproof way for you at home is if you look back here, right here, here's a little booty right here. Basically, you're going to want to make a cut from behind that up to behind the dorsal fin right here. Because if you make a cut over here, anywhere behind here, you're going to cut into its belly. If you do and you spill a little guts, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. But ideally, if you can clean this fish without spilling a single gut, then you've done a really good job. So nice, long, smooth cuts. I'm going to see here, I'm going to start behind that, and I'm going to aim for here. So the cut's going to look something like this. I want my knife at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to go all the way down until I feel bone. So and there it is, and I feel the bone. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to turn your knife sideways, and you're going to start working right against the bone all the way down. Now we'll go ahead and cut it off. You got a perfect fillet. We didn't get any of the we didn't spill any guts. We got a little bit of blood, but that's not going to hurt anything. It's always a good idea to just, as you see blood, go ahead and wipe it up, because the less blood on our working space, the better. If I was outside, I might have a hose. Another thing is, if you haven't noticed, is whenever I clean a fish, I always point the back of the fish towards me. Now everyone has a different style and method to cleaning fish, but that's what I prefer, and I find it works out really well for me. So again, I'm going to find its pooper right there, and dorsal fin right there. And I'm going to kind of figure out where I want that cut to be. So I can see it. So we're going to come down about a 45-degree angle. Make a nice, smooth cut until I feel the bone. I went all the way down to the bone. Get my knife in there. I'm going to turn it sideways. And the whole time, my knife, you're going to feel it against the bone in there. You're scraping it right along its backbone. So if you feel resistance, you're doing good. Then you're going to just make nice, smooth cuts. I'm putting a lot of pressure on that knife. You can see it flexing to get as much meat as possible. There it is. We got two real nice fillets. We got a fish that's easy to toss. I'll show you how to get that belly meat, which is really good meat. But we're going to put that fish to the side right now. Keep my working space clean. Get a little bit of blood on your fillets. Not a big deal. Wipe it off or rinse it off. I don't have a lot of blood, so I'm just going to choose to wipe it off on the clean part of my towel. And this is how you remove the skin. You're probably wondering how. Real easy. Just kind of grip the skin with nails or your fingers. Put your knife in there, and you're going to just slice until your knife hits the skin. You can see in there, I'm down to the skin. Then if you have a real sharp knife, you can just make one motion and get it all off. If your knife's not so sharp, you might have to saw a little bit. Let's see what this knife does. I gotta saw a little bit. Just like that. Voila. Now, if you get a little bit of skin on there, it's not going to hurt anyone, but if you got to remove it, slide your knife under there, like so. Take that off. I was a little bit aggressive with the knife, so meaning I put a little bit too much pressure on there, but really not going to hurt anyone. You get a little bit of that silver lining, or whatever you want to call it, silver skin, I don't know. Not a big deal. So there's your fillet. It's completely boneless, but you can always run your fingers in it like this. And if you feel any bones, you can just trim them out. Another thing I like to do with catfish especially, is if there's any fat in there, go ahead and trim that out. If you see any yellow meat in there, like right along there, go and trim that out. It's a real nice fillet right there. So we'll do the other one real quick. There's the skin. There's our fillet. That one you can see I did really nice. I didn't put so much pressure against the skin, so we got real clean fillet. Look for any fat or any yellow meat. I see a little bit right there. I don't really see much yellow meat on there. So there's your fillets. And what I'll do now is I'll just go ahead and give them a good thorough rinse. And I mean, you could prepare your fish just like that, and you can use the fillets whole. What I like to do is fry them, so I'm gonna make fish strips, and it's just up to you, preference. I mean, you can make little short strips, you can make long strips by cutting like this. I kind of go in between, so we'll just start cutting away. Whatever looks good to you. You know, I like to make strips about, I don't know, 1/2 inch. Sounds about right. When you're frying fish, you want to try to get all the pieces somewhat the same size. That way when you're frying them, they all cook evenly. When I get down to the tail end here, it's real thin. I don't really want to mess around with it too much. I'll just kind of make it into portions, what I think might be good for frying. I'll do this one real quick. Maybe something like this. Get down to that thin part. Just like that. Got yourself a nice fish fry.